Also breaking Sky Action News, Jax, a live look from the air right now over the 737, Boeing 737 Miami Air plane that crashed into the St. Johns River Friday night. They have it out of the water and onto the barge. The process of getting that plane out of the water started this morning. This is new video of when the cranes arrived at NAS Jax on barges themselves. Right now, Action News Jax has team coverage on the removal process, starting with Action News Jax Bridget Matter, who's live in Mandarin. Bridget, they are in the process of getting it to a safe location.
Yeah, and that location is an undisclosed location. We've been watching this process for the last few hours across the river. You see in that box there, Sky Action News Jax is above that area, that barge where that plane was put onto. They're live. They're flying over there, which they've been there for a little bit. We watched that process. They had to tie some straps under it and gently pull it out of the water to get it safely onto that barge. They don't want to compromise that plane because they're going to need it to be intact for that investigation. Now, we also have a time lapse that we took of it being lifted out of the water. If we can get that up there to show you what that looks like. The operation, it took several hours. It's extremely important to the investigation that this went smoothly. We actually spoke to a structural engineer who said if the straps that lifted the plane broke or any of those pieces of the plane broke off into the water, it would compromise the investigation. And before this, they actually had to take the fuel, the remaining fuel that was on that plane, off of it for several reasons.
There's several good reasons to get all the fuel out of the plane. One is it makes it lighter, so it's less load that you're lifting. But two, if something were to happen when you're lifting it and this fuel were to spill, you'd have an environmental problem.
And my producer is telling me that the cockpit voice recorder was just recovered from that plane. That is also extremely important for this investigation. The NTSB just tweeted out that they recovered the voice recorder from that Boeing 737. Investigators earlier, they had recovered the airplane's flight data recorder. That's extremely important for this investigation, that they have both of those so they know exactly what had happened upon that crash landing. Now, we also know there is a local company out of Green Cove Springs that is responsible for taking that plane to that undisclosed location. We also spoke to that company earlier today and asked about that plane moving under the bridges. They say that the wingspan will move under the Buckman Bridge just fine. We don't know where this plane is going to be taken, but they are going to take it there at some point today. They're going to start that process to get it there so they can continue their investigation. For now, we're live in Mandarin. Bridget Matter, CBS 47 Action News Jax.